coming up in sports tonight, our tribute to Ray Warren continues, and also as well as other commentators filling for him following his shock retirement from the commentary box. And also we have a look at other games from the Newcastle Knights. And also we'll have a look at stories from Newcastle and the Hunter. That's coming up right next on Sports Tonight.
Has Springfield Supermom become a crazed killer?
What will we find?
Not now, Bart. It's a major mother meltdown.
Let's go to the Mad Marge dancers.
Marge Simpson is a mom on the run on an all-new Simpsons, 7:30 Thursday.
Hello there, I'm Conor Glenn McLeod, and welcome to this special edition of Sports Tonight, where our tribute to Ray Warren continues following his shock retirement from the commentary box in the NRL. And also we'll have a look at the classic Knights games, and also we'll have a look at the NRL 9s. But first, all of us Novocastrians first going to Ray Warren in 1991 when he started commentating right onto 2HG in Newcastle as part of the round 3 clash between the Knights and the Balmain Tigers. Because of that, both sides drew 12-all.
Came up against the unbeaten Knights and rugby.
The first time that we'd heard Ray Warren commentate on a Newcastle Knights game was way back in 1991, where he was up at Newcastle's 2HG, and because of that, the Knights knew what they had to do right up against Balmain.
He gets a pass now, back inside it goes to Smith, but it goes now too slow, and he'll score the try.
Then the Knights suddenly had to make a comeback. And of course, Ashley Gordon knew what to do. And they certainly were. It was also the Knights who were making no strangers and no bad choices. And he certainly was. It was just massive for Gordon, and also it was just huge for Newcastle with the red and blue army leading from 12-8 until Balmain quickly levelled the scores to quickly finish it off with a 12-all draw. And of course, it was right in front of a home crowd right up at the Newcastle Stadium. Yeah, despite that, the Knights also won the Nissan Sevens final that year. Because of that, they had to beat the St. George Dragons by 2 points. It's a huge game, a spectacular game, and because of that, the Knights had to defeat St. George with a huge 24-22 win. And of course, it was successful. And of course, as the Knights made it through to the finals, including the big one, the grand final. It was a huge success. Both teams scored tries. Even though Newcastle were down, thankfully the Knights were not giving up just yet. And of course, Newcastle fought back right throughout the dying minutes. Glanville ran with the ball right in his hand. And of course, thankfully the match didn't stop. They had to wait for St. George to drop the ball. And because of it, it was a huge one for Newcastle, as the Knights had to quickly wait for a huge decision. With a kick to come, the Knights grabbed the ball and ran. With Ashley Gordon running,
He's wrapped up quickly by Wade. There's some tired players there, a few of them working on memory. Wade kicks it ahead, Wade wins the race. That's a try. Cameron Wade missed out a few moments ago. Now with the Knights a little tired.
then suddenly the Knights had to seek revenge,
22-12 St. George.
as they were down by 10. Now it was time for Newcastle's turn to quickly secure back-to-back tries right in the Nissan Sevens final for 1991.
Do is try and protect the lead. Now Hagan. Hagan dummying his way through. Then he finds McCormick. 5 minutes to go in the final.
As Robbie McCormick picked up the ball, Newcastle were given a penalty. And also, the ball had to be thrown in. Michael Hagan threw the ball. And also, Ashley Gordon had the ball.
Hagan to take over. Looking for runners. St. George shut him out.
And also, thankfully, the Knights did not give up.
Schuster. Who wants it?
If Newcastle are going to score, St George have got to try and make sure that it's out wide and a difficult conversion.
McCormick. Hagan.
There had to be one spectacular choice.
Ball, he just held it up and said to Schuster, you run to the gap and you put us back in this final from right in front. But this conversion
Schuster scored a try.
set it up that another converted try, even just the try.
The Knights were now on 18 points, and they quickly had to have a fast comeback against St. George.
Because 3 minutes is a hell of a lot of time in
And of course, it was a massive one indeed.
St George, if they hold onto this ball for the full 5 tackles, then kick deep, they're going to be very hard to beat.
Then
Wayne, it's all about not panicking.
the comeback continued for Newcastle,
Realise that, and you get passes like that when you're under pressure.
but as St. George dropped the ball, it was Newcastle's turn to have a comeback, as well as a fight back indeed. So Newcastle had a penalty,
other end, and we are under 2 minutes.
and they certainly were. And of course, Newcastle were not giving up. And thankfully, the Knights had to quickly do something, which is really good. Even though there wasn't much time left on the clock,
Hagan. Schuster. Gordon.
but of course, there had to be something. But of course, the damage had to be done.
Got to be going down to the final 60. Hagan.
A lot of passing here from Newcastle, but they need some runners.
We've got runners out wide. Doyle.
With the Knights becoming the best runners of all, Doyle had the ball.
60. Start biting those nails, you Newcastle fans. Richards.
Richards ran fast. He was tackled, but that didn't stop. Thankfully, Newcastle quickly secured revenge with a superb match-winning try.
There is only seconds. Seconds to go. Newcastle from dummy half Glanville. They are going to have to
And of course, Mark Glanville secured the match-winning try.
finish. $1,000 payday.
Then Ashley Gordon kicked the match-winning goal to quickly make Newcastle the winners, 24-22.
After the end of the time, Ashley Gordon, he will be the hero of Newcastle.
But by 1992, the Nissan Sevens was of course changed into the Rugby League World Sevens.
Robbie McCormack.
If a good one from the Knights came from a great start, it certainly did. Back in 1992, they had to defeat the USA in the World Sevens, and because of that, Newcastle knew exactly what to do.
A crunching tackle which jolted the ball loose. First time they've had the ball. What can they do with it?
It's Gary
And
Lambert.
of course, Newcastle had to stop the USA from securing a win. And of course, the Knights scored the best tries right throughout the first game.
Fancy names.
They've got some good names. Bob Rule, Terence Titus.
Solly Thompson, number 3 is my favourite. He sounds like an ex-Manly player.
But also, with that said, it was just huge.
No, he's not a Kiwi. He wouldn't.
It was huge for the Knights.
Just short of the 22. Oh, big push from the Americans. Gee whiz, they pushed out in that
And because of it, the Knights had to do something.
Come back now. Kemp fires one out. This is Schuster. Schuster.
Schuster was tackled.
32 out from the line. Hagan sets up for McCormack.
Michael Hagan ran right with the ball.
Over the top. The Americans push him out of the way, and the referee's gone. Well, wait a minute.
That was great scrambling defence by the Americans. Michael Hagan threw a beautiful ball.
But also,
out to McCormack. It looked like a try for all.
Robbie
money.
McCormack
Americans
thought
came from nowhere and
that he had a chance to score, but however, he was wrong.
Around about 5 metres out from the American line. Scrum collapses, penalty
Then-
goes to the Americans. Gary Lambert looks like he wants
Then
to stay.
controversy erupted as the USA were given a penalty.
Against the Wallabies a few years ago. Very experienced player.
There's plenty of him. They boot the ball out of that danger zone, the 22. Now, let's see what they can do.
It was a massive danger zone indeed.
Newcastle, straight line of defence. The Americans wasting a lot of time, Paul.
But of course, the Knights had to do something about their USA rivals, right up in the World Sevens of 1992.
Looks like he should be right.
39 years of age.
Having a go is.
They had to knock them out.
Play it back to Salty Thompson. Now that Titus wrapped up, they'll put him down. David Boyd all over the top of him with the help of Hagan.
But with David Boyd and Michael Hagan helping each other, and of course, it was just the best combination
This team is
of the
being well
Knights.
coached by Russell Fairfax, the former East coach, and they're doing a good job. You know, it's only 2 minutes to go and it's still 0-0. Newcastle, one of the favourites now in the competition.
And of course, the Knights had to grab the ball.
Taken well by Schuster. Brings it back.
They ran
Just gets him inside
before
the 22.
falling
Plays
to
up
get
over the top.
tackled.
Newcastle trying to get out of trouble through Robbie McCormack. McCormack there!
But not for long, as Robbie McCormack ran with the ball
Just broke the line, busted him up
to
there.
score one of the best tries in Newcastle's history in the Rugby League World Sevens.
There it is.
Yeah, I don't know what he was doing, wasting time. There's still, 9 minutes to go in the game. No need to waste time at this early stage.
And it certainly
Good
was.
individual effort by McCormack. He ran straight through a big gap there. bustling Bobby Brewer couldn't get in. Neither could Steve Ciano and McCormack all the way to the goalpost. And Newcastle...
McCormack ran exactly fast.
They've finally done so.
Robbie McCormack. Now Ashley Gordon right in front. Sitter for him. Kicked well last night. Yes, sir.
And also,
Newcastle 6,
the goal was
the
successful,
USA, no score.
as the Knights secured a 6-0 lead. Then, the Knights had another penalty.
Jamie Ansco takes the tap. Gets out
Jamie Ansco had the ball
Now he goes. Has he got the pace?
and ran very fast.
Was taken down by Carter Mann.
And of course, as the Knights continued on running, the halftime siren went off, but thankfully the Knights didn't care, as they scored their second try, 10-0.
10-0 now, spreading the ball wide here. They saw the opportunity out wide. Michael Hagan's there backing up inside, but it was Jamie Ansco, the former Western Suburbs player, who passed it back inside to Hagan, who had the necessary pace to go over. 10-0, kick to come.
Ashley Gordon just waiting to take the kick. Michael Hagan, he's a great player. Didn't he play well last year?
And of
Directing
course,
the traffic, played well again
Ashley
last
Gordon
night. He loves his sevens.
had to
And the
kick
kick unsuccessful.
the goal,
so it's
but was
10-0 half-time.
unsuccessful.
More distance action in a minute.
Out here for our rugby league
Then,
world to take part
the
in.
second
it's a
half
changing face
was
of the
more
game.
successful
It's great to see
for the
talent.
Knights.
Sure, they're not up to our standard. We knew
They
that
ended up
before they came
defeating
here.
the
But
USA
they do good things
in
for the
full
game.
Really
time,
great competition. I mean, I just
16-0.
found it interesting seeing the different types of jumpers.
It was all
different
thanks
colours,
to this
the
goal.
flags, and it's Michael Hagan's
It was all thanks to Michael Hagan's
Hagan
try.
will finish it off here with a try. No trouble about that. Under the black dot. 1 minute 47.
And of course, Michael Hagan scored the match-winning try.
14 to Blott with a kick to come.
But also, Ashley Gordon kicked the match-winning goal,
McCormack had to Hagan. There was no
as the
defence
Knights
whatsoever. A
won
big yawning gap
16
there, and
points to nil.
he's in second gear at the moment. Strides away.
Newcastle
14-0 kick to
16,
come.
The one
USA
thing you notice, as I
nil.
looked in, is Gary Lambert, who has played a lot of football. Here's the kick, and successful. So 16-0. Thing I was going to say, just looking at Gary Lambert, I mean, he.
And of course, the quarterfinals at the Rugby League World Cup 7. The Rugby League World Sevens was of course a huge success for the Knights. They managed to beat Canterbury with a huge win.
Hagan
It was a massive one for the Knights in the 1992 Rugby League World Cup Sevens quarter-final. And of course, it was the Rugby League World Sevens quarter-final of 1992. And of course, the Newcastle Knights were up against the Canterbury Bulldogs.
Newcastle able to get another
But also, the Knights were of course the favourites to quickly win this one.
Darren Smith and Bruce Maguire.
But also, Newcastle scored the first try.
Gordon comes the blind side. Gordon wrestled to the ground there by Jason Williams. Kemp again goes up the blind. Nobody at home. Kemp gets a try for Newcastle.
And of course,
They get their nose in front.
Kemp scored Newcastle's first try.
If you can score first in these kind of conditions, it does put a lot of pressure. Jason Williams went to sleep at marker there for the Canterbury team. And very good play from Tony Kemp, very astute play.
Newcastle now, midway 22 halfway on Canterbury's end of the ground.
Then,
Michael Hagan put down by Darren
the
Smith.
Knights scored another
Spoken about
try.
in some circles as a likely maroon wearer in state
Which
of
of
origin.
course,
Gordon now. A chip and chase by Gordon. Oh, there's
And of
quick
course,
penalty here.
Ashley Gordon kicked the ball too
I
early.
think the Canterbury chaser realised that Ashley Gordon was going to have too much pace.
And it certainly was too
Holding
much.
and a final push in the back, that was the final straw. That earned the penalty, and Newcastle had
Well,
all
the
ball
last
for this
straw
first 4
coming up,
minutes.
it was Newcastle's turn to score their second try.
Hagan
Right
now
up in
working it
the
back.
World Sevens
And playing the ball is
quarter-final for
Boyd.
1992.
Scooped away there by Glanville for Hagan. Turned back to Glanville, who stayed alive. Then to McCormack. And McCormack is tackled. Still 2 metres out from the line. Glanville again. Sweeps it to the right for Hagan. Hagan gets a try.
Michael
Newcastle
Hagan
gets their
scoring
second.
one of his most successful tries in rugby league history.
Very difficult piece of play there from Michael Hagan. You know that you can't afford to let him throw the dummy. He showed the ball to the outside, ducked, got low under Darren
8-0.
Smith's tackle and was able to get the ball across the
It was
line.
just marvellous for the
And that's
Knights.
just, again, through weight of possession. Ray, they've had all the football. Last time Canterbury were in possession, they held it for one tackle. They'll need to do better with this set of 6.
Gordon with a good chance of getting the extras, and he still misses from close range. So Newcastle with 2 tries.
It was 8-0.
Beat Canterbury by 8 points to 0.
Then Schuster scored Newcastle's third try. 12 points to 0. It was just marvellous for Newcastle.
Robbie McCormack got a good ball away to Ashley Gordon, a better ball away to Mark Glanville. And he's a fine prospect. Picked up John Schuster on the outside, and
John Schuster scored Newcastle's third
They've had all the
try.
football, Ray. They should be in front at least 12 points nil, but they've done it in style.
So the try scorer is going to attempt conversion with the siren sounding in the background.
But the siren going off at half-time, thankfully,
Gordon, but no hope in the
it
world
was
in
just
these
good
conditions.
for the Knights,
And so
as they led 12-0.
Schuster, he finds Kemp. Kiwi to Kiwi.
And of course the Knights had a lot of good opportunities and finally did,
16-4.
as they scored their 4th try,
Is that man's eye?
right in the second
That's every
half,
right to be. That's his second try for the match. He's played very well, Tony Kemp, because he did start proceedings
as
on the
Tony
last line of
Kemp
the
gave
field.
the Knights
But the Newcastle side
their
did very well. They
4th
kept the
try,
ball alive.
right up in the
Lookers up, broke down a
quarter-final
couple
of the
times. Actually went
1992
backwards to get
Rugby
the ball
League
to Tony
World
Kemp.
Sevens.
He knew all the time that he had the defence covered. Came across and Kemp was able to reach out, plant the ball down. No doubts about that try. And that wraps it up for the Knights.
And it certainly was.
30 seconds out. Got it away nicely. Looks good to me.
And of course,
oh boy,
the
what a
conversion
kick.
successful,
That's the best drop
the
kick
Knights
I've seen in
leading
the stadium
18-4.
in the 3 days of the tournament.
No, it's not. Darren Smith's got the ball back. He throws it off the ground. Taken try.
But however, the buzzer went off.
Second try. I'll still go down in this
And
last
of course,
quarter-final in the cup competition.
the Knights won 18 points to 8. And speaking of quarterfinals, and of course the Newcastle Knights also secured a win over the Brisbane Broncos in the Rugby League World Sevens. Because of that, the score was of course 24 points to 20.
The combination of Matthew and Andy
It was a
Johns
huge
held the key
win,
to Newcastle's
but of course
chance
the
against
Newcastle
Broncos.
Knights had to do
The
something
Knights
to the
immediately had
Brisbane
Brisbane on the
Broncos.
back foot.
It was to break their hearts. And of course, Mark Glanville scored Newcastle's first try of the quarter-final.
Julian O'Neill it was. And the penalty goes to Newcastle, so they get 6 tackles inside the 10-metre line. And Andrew Johns
Because of that,
will undoubtedly combine with his brother to set it all up here. Robbie O'Davis has come into first receiver, but the Broncos get themselves offside. Another penalty.
and because of it, Mark Glanville scored one. Mark Glanville scored the first try.
They do it professionally, and Mark Glanville out on the left wing is able to score.
The Knights scored their second try.
Sensational play by Matthew Johns. He saw that out wide, they were covered, and that's a sensational kick. And they nearly messed up in the end, but Glanville read the bounce well and got over for the first try.
But the Knights scored their second try, all thanks to Mark Glanville later, and that was all. And of course, they had to take revenge up against Brisbane, and because of that, the Knights had to quickly beat them. And of course, Glanville scored his second try of the afternoon.
Johnny Platt, and now Matthew Johns lost it over top. Oh, what a beautiful piece of work. What a magic piece of work this has been for Glanville to get his second try.
Marvellous for the Knights, but not good for the Broncos. And of course, it was a massive Newcastle combination. The Broncos trying everything they could, but the Knights were leading 10-8 at the point. And of course,
Newcastle
had a really good choice. And also the Knights secured a massive. Also, the Knights secured one of the best victories. Also, the Knights secured one of the best tries of all. But also, they chased after Brisbane. Then, they had a forward pass. And also, Andrew Johns securing one of the best tries.
Down 20-14, Brisbane had to keep the Knights tryless.
Then Newcastle secured the match-winning try, where they'll play against the Manly Seagulls in the semi-finals.
Thinking about it, he went in, he's come up with thin air, and Tony Herman gets the try.
He's a freak, Tony Herman.
From there, the Broncos needed a minor miracle.
The Knights knew exactly what to do, even though the Broncos tried everything they could, but it was too late. The Knights will face the Seagulls in the semi-finals.
But the Knights ran down the clock.
And of course, because of that, it was good for Newcastle. Well, of course, 1996 was an incredible success for the Knights as they secured the Coca-Cola World Sevens Premiership title by beating both New Zealand and the Parramatta Eels. Because of that, it was also huge. Also, that was followed by wins over the Sydney Tigers as well as the North Sydney Bears in the big one, which was the grand final.
Player who will be wearing the black and white colours in 96 with West.
If there's always one good thing that always comes true, it's the Knights winning the 1996 Coca-Cola Rugby League World Sevens Premiership. And of course, it's all thanks to Matthew Johns scoring the first try.
Mentioned often enough is the strength they have. They're not big men, but they're very strong. See here, John's able to spin out of the tackle. First time that the Novocastrians have been able to control possession within their first set of 6 to get try on the board.
And of course, the conversion became successful, 6-all. And of course, the Knights wanted more tries scored. And of course, thankfully, they did.
Now the ball with Peden. Marquette through the quick hands, then away. That's easy work. Newcastle come up with their second try, and the try scorer is John Carlaw.
And of course, John Carlaw gave Newcastle their second try.
We're just talking about the importance of players like Billy Peden. They're getting involved.
And of course, now the Knights were leading 10-6 against New Zealand.
Came in. Darren Albert. This is a try.
With the conversion for goal successful, the Knights led 12-6. There were plenty more goals scored by the Knights. It was all wrapped up with the Knights winning 26-14. And of course, Newcastle had to beat Canada right up into one of the best of all.
Straight from the kick-off, a 70-metre run. Newcastle are off and running the clock.
90 seconds later, Newcastle touched the football for the second time, and the same result.
And of course, tries were scored by the Knights. And of course, John Carlaw was unstoppable when he scored the Knights' second try.
This time to John Carlaw, one of the flyers in the Knights' ranks.
The Knights led 10-0 over Canada, and because of that, the Knights were, of course, on the good experience with Brett Grogan scoring the Knights' third try.
And Newcastle have their third try, and now
tries to Darren Albert and another to Ainscough blew the half-time score out to 28-0.
Now, tries to Darren Albert and Jamie Ainscough led the Knights to an incredible lead. But also,
Knights finished with 9
Robbie
tries.
O'Davis scored.
52-0 victory, a sevens record.
And Newcastle will finish the match off as they started.
And also,
with yet
the
another
Knights
try.
secured a
Really
huge
good, and I don't think it's a call in
52-0
throughout the
win
match.
over Canada.
Through Ainscough.
The Knights knew what they had to do in the second half against the Parramatta Eels. And of course, it was part of the battles of the finals of the Coca-Cola Rugby League World Sevens for 1996.
What he has done is attracted plenty of defence. It was a good time to unload. He couldn't get it away. Albert is the dummy half now, also a try scorer.
And because of that, the Knights had to be unstoppable right throughout the game.
Now, just outside the 30-metre line, it's come from Peden into the hands of O'Davis. Puts on a sprint for Johns.
Peden had the ball first.
Back with Newcastle. It should be the restart.
Then the Knights had to get the ball right in the second half.
Peden lets a decoy go, finds Ainscough. Parramatta's defence is good. It's umbrella.
Then Albert ran with the ball.
Parramatta leads by 2, 4 minutes and 20 seconds left on the clock. As John shows it to the blind side, then finds O'Davis.
Time wasn't going good for the Eels, but thankfully time was going great for the Knights. The Knights, of course, needed a win. Grogan scored one of the best tries for the Knights. As the Knights secured a win in the second quarter final. The Knights leading by 2, 16 points to 14.
So we've got what? 18-14.
Then 18-14. And of course, dozens of Knights fans knowing what was going on.
So the Johns
and of course, plenty of Knights supporters coming to the finals of the Coca-Cola Rugby League World Sevens for 1996. And of course, it was just fantastic for the Knights. As Brett Grogan scored a wonderful somersaulted try right into the dying minutes of the second half.
Over the back of his head, yes, fair try.
7.5, 8.
But neither of it mattered though.
But he did get a bit of help here from Matthew Spence. He actually scored the try for Newcastle, Matthew. And so the Novocastrians lead 22-14. The kick is to come off the boot of Andrew Johns and not coming around quickly enough.
But it didn't. But nobody cared though, as the Knights defeated the Eels 22-14.
They'd be a big chance of, as Mario said yesterday, you got the footy, you have a chance to score, and they've done just that. They have controlled it really well. Newcastle and Parramatta struggling. I don't think there's enough time left on the clock for them to win from here.
Jim Dimmick it is, finding McCracken, he knocks on.
And of course,
Newcastle will have the feed, and that's as good as the ball game. Newcastle will come up with possession. They lead by a comfortable 8 points.
And of course, because of that,
tremendous contest here in the
it's become huge for the Knights.
Well, this Parramatta side showed their supporters that this season is going to be an interesting one, and I'm sure that they'll win more games than they lose. They've got so many great players like Dimmick, and Freeman's going to be driving them. A good season for Parramatta coming up.
There'll be no place for blokes that want to go hiding, Mario.
There's never been a place for people that hide in the game, is there?
I don't think
but
so.
Also,
more to the fore this year than ever with Parramatta, let me tell you. Marquette now.
There's always good news for the Knights.
Spencer's got him. And Andrew almost volunteered to be tackled.
There wasn't enough time,
though.
though.
They've just done enough, Newcastle. They made a number of mistakes early, and that's what got them in trouble through their organising players, the Johns boys, and a great try by Bill Pede.
Campbell makes the tackle on Grogan.
As the siren went off, it of course led to Newcastle to go through to a semi-final with the Sydney Tigers. In a semi-final against the Sydney Tigers, it was fantastic for the Newcastle Knights. They, of course, they led 4-0 against Sydney. It was all thanks to a try from Jamie Anscott.
Finds himself in some space, accelerates and goes straight through to get the opening points in this game. But this is just enthusiasm and putting yourself in a position where you can get the football. And Anscott has done that very well over the last day and a half.
He certainly has, and because of it, and of course, Matthew Johns kicked one of the best goals of all. The Knights led 6-0.
This tournament, the Tigers have turned to Wes Patton, but for all his Sevens heroics, it took just one pass to turn villain.
But also, Robbie O'Davis ran with the ball in a faster position as he gave the Knights their second try. And of course, it was another front flip try as the Knights led 10-0.
He's a pretty fit player, isn't he, Robbie O'Davis? You'd think after running that far, you have enough energy to put yourself 8 feet in the air, but Robbie O'Davis taking advantage of a loose pass from Wes Patton on the last tackle. You've got to give credit for this chase as well. He was never going to get there. But a great chase from Darren Centre. Robbie O'Davis, fairly spectacular finish.
There he goes, off the platform.
And there he is. But thankfully, everything was going great for the Knights, as Newcastle had a really good lead right up at half-time.
Might just look to kill this.
Matthew Johns, he decides not, and now they've lost the ball.
But up at half-time, though, but right before half-time, the Tigers dropped the ball as the Knights led 12-0.
Was keen to make amends.
Centre was able to cut it up over halfway. Patton tries something himself. Well, he's through the line with a kick. The bounce is needed. It wobbles sideways. Patton still in front.
But thankfully, even though the Knights tried to kick it right on the left, but no harm done.
There's a good foot race there between Robbie O'Davis and Wes Patton, and they needed some inspiration. They've gotten it from Patton so often, and it's happened again in this semi-final. Didn't get the kind of bounce he wanted, neither did Robbie O'Davis. But in the end, the ball popped up nicely with a little half-back.
But whenever there's a comeback or a fight-back, the Knights had a good comeback right after the break to quickly secure a try back. And it was all thanks to Grogan.
Milford was the first one, Patterson was the second, and Grogan scores for Newcastle. That could be the key try.
Yes, the first bit was a good one. The second one was even better. But Grogan, not much space to work in. Good, strong left-hand fend. Tim Patterson, the last defender to miss. And that should just about wrap up this semi-final. John's boys have played.
It certainly did.
Mine has been their best player. And as we pointed out so often, they're a well-balanced team.
But an elimination semi-final wrapped up.
Players, as the conversion attempt. Fairly wayward, but it's a 16
and of course,
lead for Newcastle. It should be enough with under 5 minutes to go.
Newcastle, the Sevens champions from 1991. At the time it was their first title.
And of course, the Knights had to give it another go at the for a shot at the title by quickly stopping their rivals from going into the final.
The whole grandstand is shaking as Blocker got up and did a little jig.
But thankfully, it was enough for the Knights to go through to the final.
The Tigers found new life.
Hudson Smith, dummy half, 15 out. Well, one man left posted out on the right side. Langaloa, let's see a match race to the corner. Straight around Albert. James Langaloa, Fijian, joined the Tigers last year. He grabs a try. And the Tigers...
But it was not enough, though. And also, it was enough for Newcastle, who of course got through to the Coca-Cola Rugby League World Sevens final for the first time since 1991.
conversion attempt was a good one, so within 2 now, the Tigers. So they must force a mistake from this play.
Leo Davis with it, dummy, no passing. Shane Walker makes the tackle. 5 seconds, last play of the match right here. Towed through and penalised Shane Walker.
Thankfully,
Puts it into it.
with the match stopped, the siren went off as Newcastle went through to its first Rugby League World Sevens final for the first time since 1991.
He stands, throws it back to Patterson. Patterson has Lower Milford. 80 metres to cover. Milford down the left leg, can't get round the man and into the touch. Did you believe Jamie Ainscough doing that?
Well, that was the brain explosion you were talking about. I thought he'd been their best.
Thankfully, it was one of the best performances for the Knights.
In their 4 games, with Canada,
with the Knights defeating both the Eels and the Tigers in the finals. The Knights were in their first Rugby League World Cup final since 1991. And also, they had to win it for the first time since that year. But also, they were up against the North Sydney Bears. But also, Matthew Johns started the try openings by scoring Newcastle's first.
The job has been done.
The most dangerous man on the football field is the one who's got the ball in his hands. And Gary Larson just a little bit lazy on the inside, the dummy taken.
But of course, the conversion successful on the goal as the Knights led 6-0.
And Peter, how much do you think Andrew Johns has been a benefit from the Kangaroo Tour at the World Cup last season? Looks like a lot more confident player already.
I think Newcastle are in pretty good shape there all around. Like the fact they had so many players over there.
And of course, the Knights were on the hunt, and it's all thanks to Andrew Johns to score their second try, with the Knights leading 10-6. And if the conversion successful at goal, the Knights led 12-6.
Attracting 2 defenders, keeping the arm free. In the end, the dummy was taken by the North Sydney defence.
And of course, it was right up in the Coca-Cola Rugby League World Sevens Cup final for 1996. As both teams were tied at 12-all, the Knights had to break the deadlock by scoring a try, which was their third one, to make it 16-12. It was Newcastle's third try, and of course the Knights led 16-12.
It was over a metre full.
A timely try there from Jamie Ainscough from Newcastle.
As Jamie Ainscough gave Newcastle their third try.
The North Sydney players all stopping, and they have to break the line once. No room for cover defence. There's Ainscough putting down the ball.
Conversion attempt only just taken now. They really wound the clock down the Newcastle.
A well-known successful conversion attempt at goal. And of course, the Knights led 18-12.
It was Newcastle, of course, and that's back.
Then Darren Albert ran off the ball straight in his hands. And of course, Albert scored one of the best tries in the Coca-Cola Rugby League World Sevens Cup final, with Albert scoring his first try for the Knights.
Straight away, Andrew Johns realised there was an opportunity.
The Knights led 22-12, which of course is 10 points.
That's a very big play.
Of course, when the conversion of a successful goal came, the Knights led 24-12.
Newcastle has now put a gap in it. 24-12 as we break and come back with more shortly. It was very much a case of blow for blow here until a forward pass.
The second half of the 1996 Coca-Cola Rugby League World Sevens Cup final was on, and of course the Newcastle Knights led 24-12 right up at the halftime break.
This was the pass we're referring to.
Really a turning point in this game, and one that should have been detected by the referee. Ainscough grabbed the six-pointer, put on another one right on the stroke of half-time, and all of a sudden things have got away from North
Because
Sydney.
of that, the
Newcastle
Knights
win
had the
scrum.
ball to themselves.
Ainscough getting outside Michael Buechner and might have the pace to go all the way. Here's Dallas coming from behind.
Aiken is chasing, and Dallas might round him up. He has, in fact, but he's
And also,
with a free of the tackle, and Ainscough captures.
Jamie Ainscough scored the Knights' try in the second half.
Many have thought him to be the player of the series.
I'm one of those people, Ray.
With Newcastle leading 28-12.
His side had been successful, but Ainscough's been marvellous once again. Got plenty of speed. Brett Dallas, one of the quickest players in the league. Looked like he'd grabbed him. He pushed through. Good leg drive from Ainscough. The one-handed put down. That's his second for the match.
Yeah, and talk about the speed. Also still carrying the football, looking for support. Brett Dallas. Great effort from him. But Ainscough, so strong, pushes off. Full marks to Ben Aiken too.
With Ainscough giving the Knights one of the best tries of all. The conversion was successful. Because of that, the Knights led 30 points to 12. Then the good feeling came above for Newcastle.
Substantially as Peden plays it, and Ainscough folds in before using Matthew Johns, and a flick out the back.
The Knights unstoppable in the in the Coca-Cola Rugby League World Sevens Cup final.
5 minutes, 20 on the clock.
We talk about the balance in this Newcastle side. Plenty of speed.
As Newcastle managed to score another try with a 34-12 lead.
Beautiful to watch that. Matthew Johns, the one-handed flick pass, that is not an easy thing to do. That takes hours and hours of practice. And plenty of natural ability as well. Darren Tracy taking his time before planting the ball under the
With a
post.
successful conversion at goal, Darren Tracy scored the Knights' recent goal. Darren Tracy scored the Knights' recent try, and also Newcastle led 36-12.
Staying at the Sydney Football Stadium for the presentation of
And of course, the Knights unstoppable right throughout the game.
great backstop.
And it was huge.
Here he goes again, that man Ainscough.
Jamie Ainscough scoring one of the best tries for the Knights, with Newcastle leading 40-18.
I don't think there's ever been any doubt of his ability, and he's just taking advantage of the skill level around him. Lovely little step there. That's his third for the final, third try.
6th for the tournament.
He's having a great afternoon. Brett Grogan did the hard work, attracting a couple of defenders, and then the step to beat David Fairley and improve the position.
Jamie Ainscough scored the Knights' best ever try right up in the second half, with the conversion quickly going on, which is successful. The Knights led 42-18. Then the job had to be done, as the Knights quickly finished it off to score a try.
Scores and does a little bit of a one-step, two-step there. Smile is on the face. They know the job is done. 46-18.
Newcastle 46, North Sydney 18. With Andrew Johns scoring the match-winning try.
Andrew Johns is that they have so many options around them. They hold the ball out in front, and straight away that puts a defender back on his heels. They've got good speed. He's having a good time out there, Andrew.
But also the conversion was successful.
Fairley using Taylor. Back for Williams to juggle and
But also Newcastle were leading 48 points to 10.
to come, and of course I'm no more privy to information than you are, but we've seen enough here to suggest that eastern suburbs, Newcastle, North Sydney, and of course Manly are going to have some great combats.
But with a final kick to come, it was huge for the Knights, as they won the Rugby League World Sevens for the first time since 1991.
know that from 12 all, it just became all downhill for Newcastle. The heck sort of against Dello. I said this will go right down to the wire at 12 all.
Yes,
that was it.
We could stop a train. We've seen that before. $80,000 heading to Newcastle. I guess the players will get a pretty good...
Gary Belcher's down in that huddle. Let's see if he's got one of the players with him. I'm sure he has.
Well, I have the $1,000 Coca-Cola Man of the Series, Andrew Johns, with me. Not a bad afternoon work by the Newcastle boys. But, yeah, we come down here. We last year I think we come fourth or something.
And of course, Andrew Johns receiving the and of course, Andrew Johns receiving the thousands of dollars for play of the series.
Albert and John Carlo. The side looks really good for 96. I suppose you're looking forward to it. Well, we've been a lot of people are backs, but outside backs, but Johnny Carlo, he got injured on the second game or something. He scored 5 or 6 tries, and Darren Albert went the length before the end of the day. So. And I'm sure we'll meet him in the competition.
The Newcastle Knights crowned the 1996 Coca-Cola World Sevens Premiership champions.
1995 was a good year for Newcastle. 1996.
We'll come back with more sports tonight after the break. Anyway, despite the moments of city versus country, let's have a look back in 1997 when country scored a win over city up in Newcastle. It's a match that occurred up in Newcastle back in 1997. And because of that, it was up against country versus city.
Just wondering what he was doing back there. Looked like he was out in the wing for a moment, Tubes. Just good cover defence from him. He was looking for one more roll. He might have got it actually, but couldn't take the chance.
Over 10 minutes remaining in this first half.
And of course, there certainly was.
It was a wet night in Newcastle. Plenty of rain this afternoon. Right now,
and of course, country had the ball back.
It's no demonstration of coming back at the line with any great speed. He was looking for a
It was right up in Newcastle.
Gidley. 25 out from the city line. Menzies was the tackler. Mesha quickly.
And it was where country had to score their first try.
Been close to their best in the first half. Nick Gossett. Simon. Over the head of Goulet. Gidley. Nice work on the bounce. Matthew Gidley. Fittler. 5'8" on 5'8", there to make the tackle. Sears. Simon. McGregor. He's got Kosef there in support. Trying to stand in the Butner tackle. He got through Butner, then through Tooby. Kosef. Inside the 10-metre line. Cement finds himself with the ball 5 out. Then for McGregor.
And of course, Paul McGregor scored country's first try of the night.
Paul McGregor a try for country. And Gillespie's thrown the final pass. 25 metres out, and this is 5 in from touch. For a 6-0 lead for the country boys. To convert the Paul McGregor try. Simon looks great off the boot from Johnny Simon.
Then, John Simon converted it with a goal. 6-0.
Something about being on the attack now.
But then,
only 10 metres out from the country
just
line.
before the end of the first half,
Slow play the ball.
the city fought back.
Fittler. Rod Ricketson. Fittler. All the way, Brad Fittler for City. Around the outside.
Players getting opportunities to impress. There's Kennedy there.
6
Gillespie
points,
just sitting down. And,
6 points to
you'd
4.
like to see some time for sure.
Because of that, country had to quickly score 2 more tries. And of course, one was scored by Matt Sears in the second half.
Ricketson and Carroll. Field 35 out. Well, that looked forward. Simon to Harrigan. Harrigan bounces away. An offload again. Mesha, Simon. Simon through the tackle of centre. Then past Carroll. 15 metres out from the city line. Johnny Simon. Right in front of the city posts. Country. A chance on the left. Cossack. Inside it's with Harrigan. Back for Sears. Matthew Sears has scored for country. Great try at the country side. And they now lead by 6. 10-4 to country over City.
playing better.
Matthew Sears played for Country Origin and New South Wales back in '95. I'm sure if you've been watching Matthew this year, and we've seen plenty
John
of North
Simon
Sydney,
had to
he is
score
well and truly back to his
back-to-back
best form.
goals.
Good kick then for John Simon. 10 points to 4.
Because of it, the score had to be 12-4.
Out in front. Still meticulous with the setup. John Simon sprayed it a little right, but enough to get the 2. So Country lead by 8. Halfway.
Then everything was A-OK for
The
Country.
last play, Albert again, perfectly positioned.
As Newcastle's Darren Albert held onto the ball, but was then
He got
tackled.
through the rig-on tackle. Centre held him up. Country, Simon. Simon straightening up to halfway. Held by Gartner. Now Sears.
Then
Scored
Matt
the try in the
Sears
second
had
half. It's
the
been
ball,
the only
but
points
was
of the
then
second
tackled.
half. Sears try, Simon goal. Simon across. Glanville
And
almost
of
through
course,
the tackle of Ricketson.
Mark
Now 35 minutes
Glanville
out from the
nearly
City
made
line.
it,
The fans here in Newcastle hoping for a big Country finish.
and they certainly were. And of course, Paul Halligan was tackled, but thankfully Matthew Gidley had to kick a field goal just to make it 13-4.
From the young bloke, Matthew Gidley. 13 points to 4 to Country, and Matthew Gidley won't hit one better than that from 35 out. Trying to cut through, but
Then
Tuvey
the
kept
final
sliding
few
across
minutes
to make the tackle
of the
again
second half
for this
came.
City outfit. 25 metres out, Kossev. In motion.
As Country secured
In defence.
one of the best victories,
15 metres
and
out.
that was all
Country scored
thanks to one of their players securing the match-winning try in the dying
Ovaladi's had
seconds.
his hands full. Rigon's the man who flies high. This time Albert's with it. It comes back for Morrison. Then for Gidley. Then for Kennedy. And come in spinner. William Kennedy.
William Kennedy
Basically nothing. As the
scoring one of the best match-winning tries in the dying minutes.
This kick from the sideline.
Even though John Simons had a kick for goal, but it was unsuccessful. But of course, it didn't matter though, and nobody cared.
Right footer.
As the
This one swing back from John Simon coming around the upright.
as Country secured a 17-4 win over City.
Countdown is on from the fans. There'll be no time for the restart. Here was the try again with Morrison, Gidley, and then Kennedy. A great moment for William Kennedy. But that's the end of the first
And of
ARL
course,
representative match of the year. And Country have made it
and of
back-to-back
course,
victory.
Country securing back-to-back
17 points to
wins,
4, and cement a smile on his
17-4,
face.
right up
He
at
certainly wasn't
Newcastle.
expecting to come back to representative football.
Yeah, massive. And of course, let's have a look at the NOL 9s of the Newcastle Knights now. And of course, it started at about 2 years ago.
Quarterfinals tomorrow afternoon as man comes to this right-hand
The
side.
Knights knew exactly what they had to do. They had to defeat the Warriors. Right with a huge win.
Full of young talent out wide. Newcastle going into this 2020 NRL season proper under the coaching of Adam O'Brien.
Of course, it was right up in Perth in Western Australia just about 2 years ago due to COVID rules in New South Wales.
Some of that potential.
And it's a bonus zone try. Terrific work from the young fella.
Sun out here.
It was massive work indeed.
Gidley spinning, popping a ball just like old times. Brodie Jones.
Jones scored just as the buzzer went off in the first half.
Kick here by Kurt, man. It sits up. It was awkward.
Man scored one of the best tries in the second half. And also,
5 metres out. It'll go to the right hand
26-0.
Lovely ball there. And in
The
front of
Knights still
man, so
had the
Feeney
best
keeps
one,
it going.
and also the best ones in particular fashion.
Comes back to the middle. Gidley.
Then,
showing it.
there was
Now
not
putting a
enough
kick
time
in
left
chasing
as
through.
Newcastle
Cycle
continued
Lloyd is
onto
there.
their
He'll dive
good
across and
spirits.
score.
doing a front flip as well as scoring tries.
34 points to nil. Drives a kick downfield.
Then it was time to annihilate the Panthers. Because of that, Newcastle knew what they had to do.
Real chance of the game.
They had to take on the Clearys.
Chance reaching out to score. Liam Martin.
Penrith were the first to score,
for the Panthers in the back row in 2019.
but Newcastle fought back after that.
Again. Good hands here on this right-hand side. They're off and
As
running.
they had to fight back with a 4-4 draw.
Everybody steps back on the inside and levels the scores up. And also Cleary. They come to the short side.
Thankfully, the Knights knew exactly what to do up at half-time.
Jacob Saifiti scores a try that puts them in front. At the moment, more anxious now, though, as the Knights
And
are
of course,
away again. A chance for Toa.
Thankfully, good news for the Knights in the second half. They had a penalty,
gives away a penalty,
and it's what they had to receive.
The play, the ball, is it going? Yes, it will be a 3-minute sin
But
bidding.
of course,
The Panthers down to
worse
just 8
news
on
for
the field.
Penrith, they had a player sent to the
This
bin.
one, lovely show there.
But
Found some
lovely
space.
news for the
There is a
Knights.
real
They had
touch
more
of class
tries
about the work
scored,
of Tex Hoy here at the Nines
and also
so far this weekend.
Tex Hoy scoring more
Right in
tries.
front, Sione Matauti
And
thinking
also,
about a field goal knocked down by Nathan Cleary.
also, the Knights had a field goal disallowed, and also was thought to have scored one. But however, in a quarter-final, the Knights went down to the Parramatta Eels. We'll have more stories on the Knights after the break, and also we'll have our play of the day. Still on rugby league and still on the Newcastle Knights, and of course Hymel Hunt has reaffirmed his reputation as one of Newcastle's most valuable clubmen by offering to switch to the forwards when he returns from injury. Hunt, a mainstay at centre and wing in his first 3 seasons with Newcastle, is yet to make an appearance in the NRL this year after damaging his knee in the pre-season, then suffering a fractured cheekbone when he returned in the NSW in the New South Wales Cup in April. After surgery that involved inserting 3 metal plates to rebuild his face, the 26-year-old faces at least another week on the sidelines before he is cleared to resume. Now it's time for our play of the day, and of course we go back to City versus Country all the way from 1996. Now, this match-winning try from the Knights' Adam McMillan secured Country to an incredible victory right up in Wollongong against City. And of course, the try is once again the play of the day. And of course, that's it for Sports Tonight for this Friday, June 3. My name's Conklin McLeod, and don't forget, I'll be back tomorrow. Good night.